To defend someone like Cole Palmer must be a nightmare.
I wouldn't like to defend him. I mean, back in my day, I played against some fast players, some tricky players, but he looks devastating. He can go left, he can go right, and he's at the moment he's on cloud nine. And the whole of Chelsea are just doing well. I mean, I know the end of last season, Chelsea was all over the place, and everyone's moving in different directions. And just watching the game yesterday, they attack, press together, defend together. It looks like a whole new team, and everybody's just super confident. You can see it.
Mario, are they in the title race?
They're definitely in it. I think, you know, it's sometimes sad to say that quickly because people are going to be, oh, you know what happened? No, but just what Zach said, everybody's running back. You know, like we're talking, give an example, one player, Madueke. Madueke came there and he had that swagger of like, I know I'm good and he changed his game and started changing back. What? Maresca likes him now. Brought in Neto. Neto came from Liverpool. You know, Sancho still, I feel like I still have to see the Sanchos that we all knew before he went to Man U. So I have to see that comfortable ability to come in. But Jackson, as much as we were critical of him last season and asking for competition for him, I do have to say, when a striker misses chances and keeps on going, you really got to look at this because he is delivering. He scored a really early goal. He could have scored more. But he keeps on chipping the goals in. I think that's a very good sign. I think at the moment they are very confident and they have a lot of belief in this team. And I think that's very interesting.
Next up for Chelsea, by the way, they're away at St Mary's against Southampton in what is a full programme of midweek games that includes, oh, what a game at the Emirates, Arsenal taking on at Manchester United. And we're on, of course, with that big victory against Everton. Arsenal looking good, of course, 5 goals in the first half against West Ham. Both teams doing well, actually. You look at United and Arsenal's record going into this. Arsenal, you feel, have turned the corner. United unbeaten in 4 matches. Overall, Stevie, it's going to be fun, isn't it?
I think so.
Do you not think so?
I think there's going to be plenty of goals.
Well, that's good. That's
plenty of chances.
Oh, what's your definition of fun?
Well, you kind of said that. You kind of said that as if it was going to be like to and fro and back and forward and the whole thing.
Well, you just said there was going to be goals.
Yeah, but there's only going to be one team scoring the goals.
Really?
That's Arsenal.
You think Arsenal are going to thrash them?
Listen, Amarin said it after the game at the weekend against Everton. He said, "Yeah, it's good to score. It's good to win 4-0. It's good to score goals." But basically, the truth is, the opposition weren't that great, and we weren't as good as people think we are, and that's the truth. You know.
Yeah.
If Everton had been, well, if they'd not been Everton, we could have been looking at a different scoreline because the way that United play is so open and you really want to go against Arsenal and be that open. So that's what makes me think this is going to be at least 3-0 for Arsenal.
Wow.
If Man United set out and try and play open attacking football the way they've tried to, which has been good on the eye, you know, under Ten Hag it was boring, let's be honest. But if you try and do that against this Arsenal team right now, with Odegaard back, this is a different ballgame with Odegaard and this team. And
it's all about that 6 from Pep, of course, which he showed the crowd after he was saying you're going to get sacked in the morning. We can't handle it. The front page of one of the newspapers. Well, this is what Pep had to say after the game. He said, we don't have the pace in the middle right now, and Liverpool are stronger in the duels. We're not good in transitions over 30 to 40 metres compared to them. We had to adapt. I cannot forget which players I have. Many times we come in our prime and suffer going 1-0 or 2-0 down, but we could not compete against Liverpool, a transitional team, because they're so fast and stronger than us in those positions. Let's welcome in, shall we? Zach Knight is with us, as is Mario Melchiot. We're hearing from the boys in a moment. Pep Guardiola, Stevie, is regarded as one of the best managers, if not the best manager, in the game right now.
Yep.
Are you surprised that we haven't seen him do more to try and counteract this horrible run they're on? He's talking about all the positives from Liverpool. Right. None of that is a surprise. He knew that was coming.
Yep.
Why hasn't he addressed it?
Because I think he probably thinks that his way is the best way. And he probably thinks that his way with the players he has right now is the only way that they can maybe win again. Because otherwise it makes no sense to keep doing what you do and continue to lose. And that can only be through stubbornness. But it does come into question the fact that he said all those things. Well, guess what? He's playing Forest next. Guess what Forest are all about?
Yep.
Pace in the middle and counter-attacking you. So that would suggest that you have to change. And so you have to get numbers in the middle. If you don't have the legs, because he said you don't have the legs, then you need to flood it and you need to put numbers in there. That means you have to go with 4 at least. So.
But you're saying at the moment he can't get out of his own way, basically.
Well, he can't. Listen, he knows that the best way to play, if he has his team, is the way they've been doing it for the last 8 seasons. This is his 9th season.
Yeah.
But now has come the time where he's got a team in front of him that can't win games doing it his way. And the only reason he won't change it is if he's stubborn. And so far, he's shown no inkling to change it whatsoever. But to what he's just said, you surely cannot go again with what you've got.
Yeah.
You surely can't, because that performance, not just from Liverpool, but from City, has got, we can't keep doing this written all over it.
Absolutely.
So, again, we're going to have to wait and see, but I will be surprised if he changes it. But
I think he'll have to try something. But to your question, Dan, I don't think he can address it. No. Given the personnel, and this is the thing with City and how they've kind of unravelled over recent weeks. City, in years gone by, have always had their successes in pressing high up the park, keeping the team in front of them. Now all of a sudden, teams are willing to turn them around with longer balls, play through midfield, and they simply can't cope. They don't have the legs in Gundogan and David Silva. They simply cannot keep up. And then Nunes and Rico Lewis just don't have the experience in pressing from those wide areas or when to drop off. They're having issues in just trying to get crosses into Erling Haaland. Change that up, whether you put Grealish, whether you put Doku, it's the same old answer. And then you look at some of the more experienced and younger players who maybe could play in that midfield, who could offer legs. I look at Akanji as a possible solution, and yes, he's got Kovacic and etc. injured. Akanji drifted into midfield in the Spurs game, and in the goal that Pedro Porro scored, he runs off Akanji and leaves him for dead in 10 yards of space. So now all of a sudden, Akanji is showing that he isn't willing to do any bit of that tracking, and you just look throughout that City squad. You look through all the starting 11, what options he has, who are fit, and he can't address it. The other thing that just kind of keeps jumping out at me is with each passing week, Rodri's a better and better player.
Well, yes, Rodri's value's doubled since getting injured. Mario, what's interesting, he does have to do something different, doesn't he? He does have to try and change things, because as Stevie says, you go into Forest and play like you did, as you have over the last few games, you're going to lose another.
Yeah, of course. I think also he understands the game of the way he plays, and everybody likes the way he plays back home here in Holland. So playing against the Dutch coach, Slot, he should have known that tactically he's going to try to outmaster him in the sense of how he started the game. Nunes already on the left and Silva on the right. You knew he was going to go safer than the way when he changed later on. He put Doku on, you understand, and Grealish and Savinho. So having that setup, he knew in the middle the battle was gone because he lost the game. Then he tried to change and try to play them at the attacking side. What did Slot do? He put in Nunes and made him go up front for Liverpool. Why? Because he can create, because they were pushing Liverpool back. They were really pressing them all the way in their own box. And then Liverpool needed to get some breathing out. So the only way to do that is put someone up front, because the other three did already the job, you know, the Diaz and Gakpo and was Salah. So he now needed some surprise, and that's why he brought him on. So in a way, why I'm saying this is because he played against someone that had an answer to his tactical movements, whatever he has left. And if he sticks to the way he's doing it right now, it's going to be interesting. But Pep Guardiola is a man that likes to control the games, and now he's playing against someone that leads Liverpool now, and his objective is also controlling the games. So we played two coaches. He is a greater one because he achieved so much, but still has to understand people are trying to outmaster him, and that's what's happening now.
Zat, are you surprised that we haven't seen changes already from Pep Guardiola?
Yeah, I'm very surprised. I'm actually surprised that he hasn't put a holding midfielder in there. maybe a Kanji or Nathan Aki, because both of them have played in there. And I think obviously they're not going to do as good a job as Rodri, but they give that safety net. And they've gone in there with two technical players with no legs. Yeah, they're good on the ball, but they can't get back. So I'm surprised he hasn't tried to rectify that and put one of them two in there.
What's interesting when you take a look at the list of injuries, Rodri is obviously the big one, but it isn't a massive shopping list. There's still enough players available who've been there, done that, and been successful. This is who wasn't available for Liverpool game. Rodri, of course, Kovacic. So you've got your two holding midfielders out. Oscar Bob, looked promising, but not exactly guaranteed starter. John Stones, we know the same really about him. So this is not the end of the world for Manchester City.
It shouldn't be.
Yeah, it seems to be, which kind of leads you into, well, what have they been doing in the market over the last couple of seasons? And when they have been so good, Manchester City, the people that they've added have added something. But if you look, obviously, Savinho's had a shocker. Gundogan's old. Vardio's had a shocker as well. He came and did well last season. Nunez, the Doku, little flashes. Kovacic, of course, but another kind of older statesman coming in. They have dropped the ball a bit, haven't they, in these transfers?
And in a way that maybe you could understand. Now, years gone by, City would change the squad up to play in the cup competitions or whatever it may be, and you just think, well, this is as good a team as the team they played last week.
Yeah.
And I just feel that this transfer window, it was on an eye for the future. The signings of Savinho, of Nunez, Doku last year, not ready to be that starter, to be that difference maker right now, but you felt in a couple of years with this City squad and Pep, they would fit right in. Guardiola, who certainly had shown himself to be, you figure, one of the best defenders in world football, certainly the World Cup in 2022, all of a sudden he's hit a period here where he can't do anything right. And then the change, spoken about Kovacic, John Stones, we saw Pep Guardiola use him as this kind of hybrid wing-back stepping into midfield, and nobody seemed to know what to do. And John Stones played that role so wonderfully well. You had other teams try to do similarly with zero effect. So now you wonder if that's the kind of switch up, for want of a better term, that Guardiola is just missing with John Stones, because nobody else can do it. And as I mentioned, I know Zat mentioned it, Akanji just has not shown a willingness just to do the graft work, just to track players, basic things like that. And you just wonder how much of that kind of mindset is about how City has always defended during those 6 title wins, where they just press people and everybody's in front of them. They hardly ever get turned, and now the teams are turning them because they can play through midfield. They just don't know how to respond.
I think we've got to realise that the situation City are in is extraordinary.
Yeah.
It's unusual. The amount of injuries that they have had and the amount of players that they've had to...
I know, Stevie. Real Madrid had a whole hatful of injuries last season. They won La Liga and the Champions League. Ancelotti managed to get it done. He found a way.
They have had to play players that are not fit.
Let's talk about the team that are sitting top of the table, shall we? And of course, beat City. Liverpool have exceeded all expectations so far under Arne Slot. Zach, what has impressed you the most from what we've seen Liverpool this campaign?
The way the manager's come in, and he hasn't tried to be dramatic and do everything his way. He's come in and seen that he's got a good team. He's got a team that won the title a few years ago. And he's just tweaked things, and everybody's responding well to it. And yesterday they was fantastic. That was probably one of the best games I've seen Liverpool play this season, and I'm very, very impressed with them. And obviously, if they keep going the way they're going, they'll definitely win the league.
As a former defender, I've got to ask you to wax lyrical about Virgil van Dijk, I suppose, at the heart of everything that's been good about Liverpool's defence so far this season.
Yeah, no, he's been superb. I know a few years ago people were saying he was the best in the world, and I was like, I don't really see it. But the last 2 seasons, I'm seeing it, especially this season. He's like a Rolls Royce, as they call it, and I really enjoyed him. The way he carries himself, the way he plays, his attitude, his confidence, everything about him is a leader, and is rightly so the Liverpool captain, because if everybody looks up to him and give the same example, they will win the league.
Where's he from, Mario?
Oh, where I'm from? Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, I'm from Holland. Yeah, I'm Dutch. Yeah, but he is from Groningen. That's really, really up north. Okay, but anyway, I totally agree. I think he started the season off really well. And what is very important for him, I think, is, you know, like sometimes when he plays for the national team, they want more of him. But when he plays for Liverpool, I can see him being the player that he is. You know, like the confidence, what Zach said, the confidence, the way he plays, the way he puts himself in the game. And I like it because you want your captain to be that. And the way he also, yesterday when you saw the way he played against Haaland, it's also sometimes slightly different. I saw sometimes a little bit even harder in the sense of sometimes he's like what Zach said, the Rolls Royce, right? The being in control. But this time he was putting his foot in and sometimes let it be right there. And I liked it. And I think the way having a Dutch coach coming out of the German one, you think like, okay, this is maybe the way he is going to play. But then get to a Dutch one, demands more of him, wants more leadership because that's the way they talk about it here as well. And I think he can handle anything. So at the moment now, he's having a great season. But I think if you move forward, one of the key things is really Gravenberch. I think Gravenberch is one of the key things that
Where's he from?
came in. He said this. He said this. He said this had to be his season, and he clearly kicked off well. He said this is a season. What I like about him, why I'm highlighting him, I went to go and see them during COVID, where you were not allowed to train anywhere, and I went to see, and he was being trained by his dad, and there were like a group of 5 players. And no one at Ajax was even playing, and he was secretly playing somewhere, so they invited me to come and watch. Seeing him train, and I think the dad made it really clear. He said, when he goes abroad, it's not going to be easy for him. He goes to Germany, that was the best move he could have done. Why? Because he learned how to be a man. When he came to Liverpool, he was ready to attack, because if not, sitting on the bench again would not help his career. And he fought really hard and made himself ready. So he looks ready. I hope he just continues this season to play like this.
Life's good, Stevie, yeah?
Scary good. You know, the 25 minutes that Liverpool showed in the second half against Brighton, I thought they're not going to top that, but they did in the first half. I have never seen a team, I've never seen any team dominate the opposition who was supposed to be the best as much as Liverpool dominated this game. It really is a shame that it wasn't 3-0 at half-time, because that's what it deserved to be and that's what it should have been. It was complete, total, utter dominance.
Probably the biggest kind of indicator as to how good Liverpool were, and yes, the scoreline does not reflect how dominant they were. Oftentimes, in years gone by, 2 teams at the top of the table play, at the end of the game, you do a best 11. You do a best 11 of this. I don't think not a single City player gets it.